Guys, I don't think we're paying attention to what comes next. We are all so incredibly hyper focused on the immediate fallout of Anna Devane's trauma, Ross Cullum's betrayal, and Jen Sidwell's reckless escape that we are completely missing the massive storm brewing just over the horizon. The story could be heading toward a psychological thriller the likes of which we haven't seen in years. If you look at the trajectory of these legacy characters, the current drama is nothing more than a carefully constructed smokescreen. The real shockwave is waiting to hit, and it is going to completely redefine everything we know about the WSB, the Cassadines, and the dark legacy of Cesar Faison. We need to stop looking at what has already happened and start looking at the devastating possibilities of what is about to unfold in the coming months. Let's set the current board very quickly so we know exactly where all the pieces are standing. Anna Devane is supposed to be recovering in a secure facility in France, trying to heal from the psychological torture she endured while held captive at Windermere. Ross Cullum has been exposed as a dirty agent, and Jen Sidwell is on the run, setting deadly traps for his enemies. Valentine Cassadine has fled to Geneva to meet with the mysterious WSB head known as Z to expose Cullum's treason. But here is the game-changing twist that alters everything. Anna has escaped her facility. She realized her memories weren't hallucinations. She tracked down the mastermind's heavily guarded base and discovered that Cullum and Sidwell were just loyal pawns following orders. The real mastermind who ordered her kidnapping, who orchestrated the fake Cesar Faison theatrics to break her mind, is Z. And Z is none other than Peter August. Her nephew, the man the entire world thought was dead, is alive and running the ultimate underground syndicate. He wants to destroy her sanity before destroying her life as revenge for choosing justice over blood. That is our board. The pieces are set. Now, where do we go from here? Looking ahead, the first future we need to deeply explore is one of escalating psychological warfare that violently spills over into Port Charles. If Peter August is truly pulling the strings as Z, who benefits from this horrifying revelation? Peter. Absolutely. He has spent years, maybe even his entire presumed death, calculating this exact scenario down to the last detail. He has successfully planted the seed of doubt in everyone's mind regarding Anna's sanity. Felicia Scorpio, Emma Scorpio, Drake, and even Valentine Cassadine currently believe Anna is suffering from severe mental breakdowns and hallucinations. If Anna returns to Port Charles screaming that Peter August is alive and running a global syndicate, who is going to believe her? No one. This could lead to Peter operating in plain sight, entirely unchecked, because the only person who knows the absolute truth is the one person everyone has written off as mentally unstable. Peter could walk right into the Metro Court, and if Anna points a gun at him, she will be the one locked away in Shady Brook. But who is in immediate, life-threatening danger in this scenario? Valentine Cassadine. This is the most terrifying part of this potential future. Valentine literally went to Geneva to meet with Z to expose Ross Cullum. If Peter is Z, Valentine has just walked directly into the lion's den without a single weapon to defend himself. Valentine thinks he is negotiating with a high-level WSB director to secure his freedom and protect his daughter, Charlotte, but he is actually handing himself over to the man who hates him and Anna more than anyone else on this earth. The bigger consequence may be that Peter uses Valentine as the ultimate leverage against Anna. Imagine Peter holding Valentine captive in a dark cell, forcing Anna to commit unspeakable, treasonous acts to save him, all while the rest of Port Charles thinks Anna has completely lost her grip on reality. The dynamic between Anna, Valentine, and Peter has always been incredibly toxic, but this elevates it to a level of pure, unadulterated psychological torture. Peter wouldn't just kill Valentine. He would use him to systematically shatter the last remaining fragments of Anna's soul. Now, let's pivot to a second, completely different future. What if Anna Devane doesn't break? What if this horrifying revelation doesn't push her over the edge, but instead snaps her back into the lethal, calculating DVX spy she used to be decades ago? In this scenario, Anna doesn't run back to Port Charles to warn everyone. She knows they won't believe her, and she refuses to play the victim. Instead, she flips the script and plays Peter's twisted game better than he ever could. There's a chance that Anna decides to go completely rogue, infiltrating Peter's network from the inside. She pretends to be the broken, manipulated woman he desperately wants her to be, surrendering to him at his base, only to systematically dismantle his empire piece by piece from the shadows. This path would change the entire landscape of the show. We would see Anna operating in the dark, completely isolated from her support system. Emma, Felicia, and Laura would be mourning the loss of the Anna they knew, believing she has succumbed to her trauma or disappeared entirely into the ether. Meanwhile, Anna would be engaging in a high-stakes, deadly game of chess with Peter. She would have to out-manipulate the ultimate manipulator. What happens next may be a brutal, morally gray storyline where Anna is forced to do terrible, unforgivable things to maintain her cover within Z's organization. She might have to sacrifice innocent lives or betray her former allies to get close enough to Peter to end him permanently. This isn't just a minor variation of the story, it's a total reinvention of Anna Devane. She stops being the righteous police commissioner and the heroic WSB agent and becomes the ruthless assassin she was trained to be. It would be a poetic, deeply tragic, full-circle moment for her character, proving that Peter's attempt to destroy her only resurrected the darkest, most dangerous parts of her past. Let's look at a third future, and this is the wild card. The possibility that very few people are thinking about right now. What if Peter's grand revenge on Anna isn't just about her? What happens if this changes everything for the entire infrastructure of Port Charles? We have to remember the other moving parts on the board. Ross Cullum was trying to steal a highly advanced cold fusion prototype. Jen Sidwell is setting deadly traps involving Sonny Corinthos, Laura Collins, and Lucas Jones. What if Peter, operating globally as Z, orchestrated all of these seemingly disconnected events to isolate Port Charles completely? He didn't just want to break Anna. He wanted to break the world she swore to protect. In this chaotic future, Peter uses the cold fusion technology not just for financial profit, but as a weapon of mass destruction or a tool to hold the entire city hostage. He knows that Anna's true weakness isn't just her own mind, it's the people she loves and the city she calls home. If that happens, Peter's ultimate revenge is forcing Anna to watch helplessly as he systematically destroys her home, her friends, and her family. Imagine a storyline where Port Charles is completely cut off from the outside world, plunged into darkness by the misused cold fusion tech, and Peter August reigns supreme over the chaos. This would bring characters like Carly Spencer, Jack Brennan, and Jason Morgan into direct, violent conflict with Peter's heavily armed forces. It turns a deeply personal vendetta into an epic, city-wide survival storyline. It's wild. It's unexpected, but given the sheer scale of the WSB corruption and the infinite resources Z commands, it is entirely within the realm of possibility. If you ask me, looking at the rich history of these characters and the way the show operates, the path that feels most likely is a brilliant, devastating combination of the psychological warfare and Valentine's disastrous trap. I keep coming back to the idea that Peter August's obsession with Anna has always been deeply rooted in his massive daddy issues with Caesar Faison. Peter desperately wants to prove he is smarter, more ruthless, and far more capable than Faison ever was. Faison tried to break Anna for years and ultimately failed. Peter wants to succeed where his father couldn't, proving once and for all that he is the ultimate villain of this bloodline. The path that makes the most sense involves Peter using Valentine as his primary suffering pawn against Anna. Valentine is the one person who truly understands the darkness inside Anna, and he is the one person she would risk everything, including her own sanity, to save right now. If Peter has Valentine locked away in Geneva, he holds all the cards. I genuinely believe we are heading toward a storyline where Anna has to fake her own descent into absolute madness to protect the people she loves. She will have to let Felicia, Emma, and Mac believe she has completely lost her mind, all while secretly fighting a brutal shadow war against Peter. It gives the actors incredible Emmy-worthy material to work with, and it perfectly honors the legacy of the Faison and Devane rivalry while passing the torch to the next generation of monsters. Peter isn't just a physical threat anymore. He is a psychological virus. And that is exactly how the story needs to play out on our screens. But let's not end this by just wrapping it up with a neat little bow. Let's talk about the next shockwave that will inevitably hit if this scenario happens. If Peter is Z and Anna has to fight him in the shadows, what comes after that? The bigger consequence may be the permanent alteration of the WSB as an institution. If Z is Peter August, it means the entire global intelligence apparatus has been compromised by a madman for years. Looking ahead, this could lead to the complete dissolution of the WSB. The government might tear the agency down to the studs, leaving Port Charles without its usual international safety net, and forcing characters like Jack Brennan and Jason Morgan to form new, unsanctioned alliances to keep the peace. And what about Anna herself? If she survives this brutal ordeal, if she manages to defeat Peter once and for all, she can never go back to being the same person. The psychological toll of realizing her nephew orchestrated her torture, combined with the horrifying things she will have to do to stop him, will leave permanent, unhealable scars. The story could be heading toward a future where Anna Devane has to step away from the light completely. She might have to take over the remnants of the WSB or even Z's organization to keep the world safe, becoming a benevolent dictator operating strictly in the shadows. Furthermore, what happens to James West and Maxie? If Peter is alive, his sick obsession with his bloodline will inevitably lead him right back to them. The fallout of Peter's survival will ripple through every single family in Port Charles, from the Scorpios to the Joneses to the Cassidines. The future is wide open, guys, and if Peter August is truly back, the nightmare is only just beginning.
Goodbye. Please like, subscribe, and comment on the GH Spoilers Daily channel.